PSVR2 sales numbers may not be that bad, Sony gets in trouble with another US senator, the success of the Final Fantasy XVI State of Play, and we had a huge leak for the Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, or so we thought. All that and more in today's PlayStation news, let's get to them. PlayStation appears to be making a big push at eSports as they have announced a dedicated YouTube channel for their fighting and sports tournaments. The channel is called PlayStation Esports and will likely have a big role as we get to this year's EVO competition which Sony owns, and if you don't like esports content, at least you won't get any new notifications about it from the main channel. PSVR2 sales may not be as bad as previously reported, and I kinda said this in the video where I covered this news. According to Sony, by February 2017, PSVR was close to a million with 915,000 units to be exact. It's been a little over a month since the PSVR2 launched on February 22nd, so selling almost a third of what the original PSVR did in 4 months, while launching during different times of spending, doesn't seem that bad. So earlier this month, a report from Bloomberg with an analysis from IDC was saying that PSVR2 sales were going to be under 300,000 units after a month of being out, a figure they claimed was disappointing as Sony needed to cut the price if they wanted to improve that. An article from Twigtown has added more context saying the original PSVR sold 900,000 units after 5 months, and PSVR2 has sold a third of that in just 1 month, so it's in fact considerably outpacing the original. A sales chart from Twitter user Luran also points out the number makes it the best launch for a VR headset ever, and the best selling number for a wired headset after only 1 month. VR overall as a technology is struggling these days, with Matt Piscatella from Circana saying VR and AR headset sales are down more than 40% for the 6-month period ending January 2023. With that, it may even be surprising that PSVR2 sold that much in a market with a downward trend. You also have to consider the devices only sold at the PlayStation Direct store and for select countries, so the number could have been better. It still remains to be seen if PSVR2 will reach PSVR1 numbers in the same time frame, as sales could slow down, but right now it appears to be far from the disaster previous reports made it to be. The trouble for Sony continues as part of the concerns US senators have about the Japanese company withholding exclusive games. In a letter reported by Axios Gaming, North Dakota Republican Senator Kevin Kramer contacted Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida regarding its anti-competitive behavior and requested information on the company's acquisition agreements based on Sony's dominance in the market. He is also concerned by Sony's exclusionary practices of paying game publishers not to distribute games on rival platforms as part of the North Dakota efforts of preparing students for careers in gaming. Kramer even pointed out Sony's attempts to block the Activision deal as anti-competitive conduct since they recently acquired Bungie. As part of the response, Sony would have to submit copies of all third-party exclusive agreements that prevent third-party publishers from releasing games on other systems, a document explaining the rationale for acquiring Bungie, and more legal stuff. This started as an apparent receipt from Microsoft to Sony for trying to block the deal, given their first senators to express their concerns were Washington-based. I'm no legal expert, but exclusivity has been a big part of the market and the big three used to do it all the time, until Microsoft decided to buy full companies instead of game exclusivity. And other issues for Japanese games skipping Xbox appear to be on Microsoft's side, as a recent article pointed out that Square may have a beef with Xbox, given they pass on releases Sony doesn't have an agreement on, like this week's Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. So in the end, I don't think there would be much trouble for Sony, but this is an unnecessary probe they got into for fiercely fighting against the Activision deal, and as I said before, maybe it's not worth all this trouble after Microsoft said they would keep Call of Duty on all platforms. Speaking of exclusives, Final Fantasy XVI State of Play was a huge success, and it has since gathered 1 million views on the PlayStation US YouTube channel alone, not counting people who tune into it live. This has even resulted in improved pre-order numbers with the deluxe and standard editions among the top 5 bestsellers on Amazon, so Square should be very happy. Fans looking to spend more on the game are not happy though, as the gamer is reporting the collector's edition is being scalped on eBay, with some pre-orders going for as high as £600 and £999, from $329, which is the official retail price. Head of Indies Shuhei Yoshida was recently honored with the Fellowship Award at the most recent BAFTA Game Awards. Now he's being recognized by his peers as he's a PlayStation Stars collectible. You can earn and celebrate Shu as well by playing any indie such as A Space for the Unbound, Before Your Eyes, Call of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, or The Night Witch. The collectible expires around mid-July. Another celebrated figure is Elden Ring creator Hidetaka Miyazaki, as he has been named one of the 100 most influential people of 2023 by Time magazine. Miyazaki has been on a streak with highly popular games such as Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and last year Elden Ring. He becomes the second game developer to earn the distinction after Shigeru Miyamoto was named in 2007. His entry featured a short message from Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann on what Miyazaki games represented to him, reminiscing about the first time he died a lot in his first Miyazaki game and how everything clicked after slowing his approach and looking at the details. Congrats to Miyazaki on this amazing accomplishment. Let's stick with more about From Software as Armored Core 6 has been rated for a PS4 and PS5 release in Korea. As we learned with previous game releases, the most recent being God of War Ragnarok, the Korean rating board requires games to be almost ready for release to apply for certification. That means Armored Core 6 could be close to completion in the coming months and could indeed release before the end of the year. It seemed like we had the biggest leak or confirmation for a Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake when singer Donna Borg posted a photo of her in a recording booth working on something MGS3 related, or at least that's what we thought. Donna Borg has previously lent her voice to the series with the amazing Heaven's Divide theme for Peace Walker and Sins of the Father for MGS5. She posted a second photo in which eagle-eyed viewers found the Snake Eater lyrics in some papers in the background. This made the alarms go off for MGS fans, but sadly Borg shut everything down a day later. She said she was indeed recording Snake Eater alongside Mason Lieberman, senior composer at Tencent, but it's a for fun project. Lieberman confirmed it's some sort of video game music album which they will share details later. So sadly we're back to waiting for Konami to officially confirm an MGS3 Remake exists, and rumors have said we could learn that around the E3 season, Summer Game Fest. Remedy Games has reinforced that Alan Wake 2 will release this year. That was as part of a blog post that introduced the new studio logo and its visual identity. The post at the end indicates that you can look forward to Alan Wake 2 later this year, and they have been confirming the same since the year started in several company meetings. The studio is in full production on the sequel and has many other projects in pre-production, including the Control sequel and a multiplayer spin-off. Lots of games get delayed every time, so I'll believe it once they show more of it. In Friday's video we talked about how Suicide Squad was officially delayed, but WB and Rocksteady are not planning to change that much from what they showed at the State of Play. In fact, Jason Schreier from Bloomberg reported it was a delay for Polish only. Jess Corden from Windows Central has added some contradicting information, saying he heard the reason for the delay is to remove the always online component of the game. So who knows, maybe it's a little bit of both. Another reason for the delay probably has to do with WB having a really hot item on store shelves right now called Hogwarts Legacy. Twitter user Timur22 reported that Arian Darby, senior brand and marketing manager at WB Games, has updated his LinkedIn page saying the game sold 12 million units in its first 2 weeks, a 256% achievement over their planned sell-through, which is $850 million in revenue. Since releasing in February, Hogwarts Legacy has become the best-selling game for the year and outsold last year's Elden Ring. More Mafia leaks are coming from Hangar Studios job postings and now hint at Mafia 4 possibly having stealth mechanics and multiplayer or live service elements. The post for senior systems designer for the Brighton UK offices is asking for someone with experience in multiplayer games and or live service game design, including economy systems. And another job posting details the next iteration of the Mafia series would include engagement stealth and combat gameplay loops. And let's keep talking job postings since a new Warhorse Studios listing gives Kingdom Come fans some hope for the series to get a new entry. The studio is looking for a cinematic designer to create AAA quality cutscenes full of humor, action, thrill, and generally unique moments that can be seen in other game studios. It remains to be seen if it's indeed a new Kingdom Come game or something else. Cliff Bleszinski might be getting ready to bring back Lawbreakers according to a tweet from the creator who said he got a text message from his lawyer after wondering who had the rights to it. He asked fans to stay tuned for more news. He was also very confused by people supporting the game now when it failed back at launch. Lawbreakers was a first-person hero shooter that was released for PS4 and PC in 2017, but only ran for a year before being shut down. Another game that could come back is Dino Crisis, but sadly not in the way fans of the series would hope. Capcom has detailed all the features from the upcoming Exoprimal as part of the end of the open beta test period, and they have said the game will receive title updates including collaborations with other Capcom titles. They didn't confirm Dino Crisis specifically, but come on, the game has dinosaurs. It's the least they could do after the curveball they threw at fans during the game's reveal. And in new release dates we have Company of Heroes 3 with Sega confirming the World War II strategy game will release on PS5 this May 30th, making it the first time the series is on consoles. And frozen by the announced Trine 5 A Clockwork Conspiracy will launch for PS4 and PS5 this summer. The game brings back the wizard, thief, and knight to fight against the Clockwork army in online and local co-op through 2.5D landscapes that also offer some puzzles to solve. And those are the PlayStation stories for today. What are your thoughts on them? Share them in the comments below, let me know your feedback by liking or disliking this video, check out other videos you may enjoy while you're here, and consider subscribing for more on PlayStation. Thank you so much for watching, my name is Joseph, this is Hype for Games, and let's get hype!